Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you guys how I use my pressed flowers for my journals. First I'm going to start with some packaging material and I'm going to trace out some tags and then cut them out. Then I'm going to pick out some of my pressed flowers and leaves, and so I'm going through some of my old collection that I have here. And now I'm going to kind of go through and see which ones I want to use and kind of try to get an idea of where I want to go from here. Here I'm starting to actually glue down some coffee dyed paper, and I will be pulling together some book pages also. And then I'm looking at my leaves and at my pressed flowers to kind of get an idea which ones I want to use. So here I'm going to just glue some of these tags down. And I kind of go through and just I keep picking out different tags and just gluing them down to the paper, and then I kind of let them dry for a bit, and then I'll come back and cut them out and then glue the other side down so that the other side has either book page or a coffee dyed paper on the back for journaling. So here I'm showing you guys how they look once I glued the book pages down. I kind of did some collages on some of them, and some of them will have just the book page. I just glued it down to either book page, or if it's blank, it's more likely coffee or tea dyed page. So here I'm going to ink the edges of my tags and just distress them a little bit and add some dimension to them with some ink. And I'm using two different inks there. I have a tea dye one, and I think the other one is the walnut stain. And so I'm just going through and adding some dimension to it. I found this little brush. It's like a shaving brush at the Dollar Tree in the shaving section, like with the shavers and the shaving cream. And I thought I'd try it because it was I thought it might be cool to try out, and it does give some nice texture to the tags with the ink. So that's what I'm using here. And this is the first time I'm trying it out, so I'm actually trying it out where I'm holding it, and sometimes I set it down on the table to use too. Okay, so this little tag here, I actually made it from the corner of the packaging. And so that little corner was already included on the packaging, and I kind of like the shape, so I just kind of kept it. And just, it was a really easy little tag. And so now I'm just kind of distressing around it, and I think it'd be so cute with a staple through the top of it and maybe some twine. So I wanted to just mention that sometimes you'll have packaging with like a nice shape, and just work with it because it can just add to the look of, whatever you're doing. Like if you're using it for a tag or something, it'll just be interesting like that. And so I also like to work on multiples when I make cards. I guess I could have just done one, but if I make more and I try different shapes out and I did make different sizes, it just seems to, it just gives you more to work with. And it's kind of fun to try out different things by doing more. And it also saves time because then you don't have to pull out everything each time you make a tag. You can just make multiples. And so I don't usually create like in bulk, but for tags, or if I'm trying something new or something different, I will, try a couple different ways or different ones and kind of vary things up a little bit because it's just kind of fun to be creative that way. So here I'm working with a tag, and the paper that I used was a vintage, like a magazine page, and so it has typewriter font. So it's kind of one of my favorites, I guess, because of the font. And so I'm again testing different leaves, and I decided on this one. And then I'm also looking at the washi tape, and sometimes I'll just tear it and put it down, and then I'll realize I don't like it. So I remove it, and then I decide to just put it on a different tag, because you'll see that there's kind of a break between the two the tickets, and I didn't like the way that break looked. The break between the tickets looked on the first tag, but here on this one, it's kind of perfect. So I just put it down there, and I like the way it looks on this tag. Just the composition of it looks better, and so I think I like that. So I'm gonna set it aside, and then I'm gonna try to get another piece of washi tape for the other tag and figure out which way to go with it. And so see here how I'm kind of trying different leaves. They're both small, but I kind of like this one better. And now I feel like the background is a little bit too plain, so I'm going to add a little bit of, I'm going to stamp it with this vintage stamp. And again, I'm trying it out, and I really like the way it looks, but I think I want to add some numbers or just a little bit more to the tag. So I'm gonna use a strip of paper to kind of protect part of it so I can get exactly what I wanted on the side there. So now I really like the way this one looks so far, and I think this is ready. And so I also have some white space on the side there, with kind of like empty space. And I like the way that looks. That could be fine just to use just as it is, or it's also great to add a date in there or a word if you wanted to. So leaving that blank actually works really well. So here I'm just going to use some Elmer's glue, and I'm going to glue down that press leaf. And as I use the glue, you'll notice that some of the ink will smear a little bit, and I'm used to kind of the idea, and I like it because it kind of gives more, it just kind of spreads out a little bit, and I like the way it looks. It gives it more of an aged look. And so I usually like to seal my work with a really thin layer of glue or even Mod Podge. Here I decided to add a label to that tag, and I'm inking the edge just to kind of match it up with the card. And I really like the way the label looks with this press leaf. And I'm thinking it needs a little bit more, so I'm thinking maybe to go with some washi tape. And so sometimes I kind of test things out. I'll have to tear it off and put it down and see how it looks first before I decide what I want to go with. So there, I'm going to trim off some of that stem. It's kind of sticking out a little bit too far out. And again, I want to add a little bit more dimension with the stamp, so I'm just going to add a little bit to the side there. And so sometimes when I work with tags, I find that just layering things really seems to help. It gives it some dimension and interest. And so if it feels a little boring or a little plain, I'll just add some washi tape or just add layers of different elements. And sometimes plain is nice though, and you will see that I do I do make some simpler tags also where you have just the type or just the book page behind the leaf or the pressed flower. So I will do, it just depends on what I feel like it needs, I guess. So this one I just wanted to add a little bit of washi tape. Okay, so here I'm going to glue everything down, or I should say the leaf. I'm going to glue it down, and again, when I smear it, you'll see some of the brown will kind of smear a little bit, and I like that effect. It kind of blends it in a little bit more, and it gives it more dimension. So, and then I'm going to try to get some glue on top of the edges too, to kind of seal it down. And if it sticks a little bit up too much, I'll let it dry first, and then I'll go with a second coat, because I really do want that leaf to kind of stick on there and not come off or not break. Okay, so here again I'm playing with some leaves and kind of trying to figure out the composition of the leaf with the tag. And I really like the way this looks here, but I still feel like there's like the scale is not perfect. So what I'm thinking is to add, I like the first leaf better. I'm thinking to add maybe some journaling space at the top and use the first leaf, but we'll see. I just set it aside for now, and I started working on this other one here. And again, you'll see me using stamps. I do like to layer um, some stamping in there. I feel like it adds some interest and some dimension to my pages, or to my tags, I should say, excuse me. And also washi tape. So I do like to add some interest kind of underneath the leaves. Although even as it is, I think it looks great. You can just stop right there and you can, go with it from there. But I'm going to add some washi tape and kind of, so I'm going to tear another part off because that first one had that white break and I didn't like where the tickets kind of broke off. And even this one, I didn't like the way you can see the white on the ticket, so I'm going to trim it off so that it seems so it kind of like it doesn't have that border. Sometimes you can't see it, but in this case I didn't like the way it looks, so I'm just going to trim it off real quick, and just this way it's a little bit more seamless. So here I'm kind of fussing a little bit more with the washi tape, and there it is and how it turned out. So I hope you guys liked my video and my process, and I hope you guys pull out your pressed flowers and make some tags. And if you guys like this video, please hit like and subscribe if you'd like to see more. Thank you and have a nice day.